The advanced microloan program was started to help businesses get access to capital who might not be able to get it through traditional sources such as banks. And we offer financing from $5,000 to $100,000. In some cases, only $50,000. And if I'm not sure if we're going to have an opportunity to talk about the programs later. Okay, all right. So I'll save those details for later. And so the program though is for startup businesses as well as existing businesses, or what we might call emerging businesses. So ADVANCE is the Economic Development Division of the Green Bay Chamber of Commerce, and our program is to provide funding of generally $55,000 to $100,000 to startup or newly established businesses, or what we would call emerging businesses. Our primary market area is Brown County. However, it does extend to 11 other counties, and I'll just name them: Manitowoc, Shawano, Oconto, Outagamie, Calumet, Kewaunee, Dorr, Florence, Forest, Marinette, and Menominee counties. In those counties, however, it is only $50,000, so we are limited to $50,000 in those counties. The business needs to be a for-profit business, so unfortunately, if you're a not-for-profit, the financing is not available to you. And in those other counties besides Brown County, we can only do what we would call term loans. And that maximum term, and that's where there's a discrepancy in the information I have here. I think it's only up to 6 years, but there's one place where it says 7 years, so I have to get that clarified. But we can also do lines of credit, and those would be for what we call working capital for day-to-day expenses of running the business. Those are only available, though, in Brown County, and those are generally reserved for existing businesses because we really want to see if business has a track record before we provide them with any kind of a line of credit. Those lines of credit could be for usually are 12 months. Well, they are 12 months, and then they're subject to renewal at the end of every 12 months. The people who start the business or are involved in the business need to be directly involved. They can't be passive owners that have other people really run the business for them, so that's very important. And if you do a loan application to ADVANCE Microloan Program, it takes between 30 and 60 days to process that application to some conclusion, either an approval or not an approval. The purpose of the loans are for several purposes. Purchase of fixed assets, which would mean things like machinery and equipment, could be for inventory, for working capital. We generally are not going to, there's some restrictions on types of businesses that we will fund, and I'm not going to go into that right now, but there are some restrictions.
Typically your SIN businesses?
Pardon me?
Your SIN businesses?
Yeah, I would say that. It's
okay.
kind of, they somewhat follow the SBA guidelines.
Okay.
If the SBA would finance it, we probably wouldn't finance it either. Okay. And we also do not finance the acquisition of real estate. So if you wanted to purchase a building, we would not be financing the acquisition of that.
However, the city of Green Bay does.
So therefore, you could partner the two loans together.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. And we typically don't reimburse for previous expenses. So if you started your business and you incurred, and I know you're going to talk about that, a lot of credit card debt or some other kind of debt, we typically are not going to refinance that debt. There might be some cases where we might look at it, but as a general rule, I would say we will not. To apply for a loan, you have to have a business plan, and I'm going to provide you with another sheet that talks about an outline of a business plan that you might want to consider as you're putting that together. We also want to have people that have some knowledge and experience in the area that they're wanting to start a business in. So, I mean, for example, if you wanted to start a dog kennel, and I just talked with someone the other day that wanted to start a dog kennel. I asked him, what is your experience and your wife's experience in this? Well, my wife worked at the Humane Society for a number of years. She's actually worked at a couple dog kennels. We both have a passion for animals. That was good. If he said, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to do a dog kennel, and I don't really like animals that much, but probably would not be a very good fit. The interest rates on these loans are fixed. The rate is determined by the loan committee. Again, I'm fairly new to it, but what I've seen lately is the interest rate is in the 7 3/4, 8% range. And I don't know how that fluctuates over a period of time, but that's where I've seen things right now. The borrower, or the owner, I should say, business owner, typically has to provide a personal guarantee for the loan. And by personal guarantee, what that means is that while we are writing a promissory note to the business, which is usually like a limited liability company or something like that, we also are going to ask the owner of the business to put his or her name on the line and sign a separate personal guarantee, so that if for some reason the business does not work out and is not able to repay its debt, we can look to that person personally. And if that person is married, we will ask his or her spouse to also sign a personal guarantee. So that's pretty important to know. As collateral, meaning what assets the bank secures, that was my banker thing. What collateral we would secure as a backup to our loan would be all the business assets, and typically if the business owner owns his or her home, we would typically take a second or a third mortgage on that home. So we have a loan application that requires you to submit some other documents with that, some financial statements, etc. There is a loan application fee that ranges between $75 and $150 depending on the size of the loan. All the loans are reviewed by a loan committee. I'm the first stop. If I don't think the loan should go forward to loan committee, I will say I don't think you're ready yet, or I really don't think I can recommend this loan. But if I believe I personally can recommend the loan, or I want a second set of eyes to look at the loan, then the loan will go to loan committee. I don't have any lending authority myself. The loan committee is the one that makes the decision on to whether to go forward with the loan or not. And the borrower actually goes to loan committee, which from your banking days, you'll know that's extremely unusual. Typically, borrowers don't get an opportunity to go in front of a loan committee. Microlending is very different in that way, and one of my jobs is to prepare a borrower to go before a loan committee.
Cool.
And then the loan committee meets as needed, so we kind of put that together as needed based on loan applications in front of me. And then we disperse our loan funds, what we call a controlled disbursement, meaning you provide us with invoices or things that need to be paid, and we typically cut the checks to the suppliers or the manufacturers of the equipment you want to buy, as opposed to simply providing you with the money and then you go ahead and cut the check. So that's another kind of check and balance that we have. We are going to require ongoing financial statements, and that you meet with us at least quarterly so we can help you with your business and refer you to other resources such as these people here if you need that type of help. In the microloan program, again, it's not a bank. And so the approach is going to be very unbank-like, in that we are not going to look at an advance ratio necessarily against collateral. So a piece of equipment, we might have a 1-to-1 ratio of collateral to loan. We're really looking at other things besides collateral. We're usually collateral poor. We're really looking more to the character of the borrower.